Legere's come out with a brand new cut of reed. The French cut. And we're going to check it out today. Here it is. I've got it loaded up right on my clarinet. This is the French cut. All right, that feels good. Let's get the comparison to the cane reed. So resistance-wise, that matches up really, really well. There is a slight difference in tone. If I were to hear it not back-to-back, would I be able to notice it immediately? Maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. It's not that far from it. So now, that was a 4.5. This is a 4.25. I'm going to put on the screen, after I investigate it, which I haven't done yet, the range of reed strengths come with these French cut. So this is a quarter lighter. One of the things that I'm going to say right off the bat that I like about these reeds is they seem to be thicker than the other Legeres that I've had. Why does that matter? Because I can use the same ligature much, much easier. The ligature reed mouthpiece combination with Legeres was quite a bit different for me in the past. This feels a lot more normal. Okay. All right. So number 4. Legere was very kind. And thank you, Legere, for reaching out, asking if I would want to try these, give some opinions about them, and an opportunity to make a video about them. What this has done has allowed me to not spend my own money on the reeds, which is nice, but it hasn't influenced my response to the reeds, and quite honestly, they didn't ask me to make a video. I asked them if I could make a video. So this just saved me some money buying the reeds, but it didn't buy me. I'm going to tell you what I really think. I wouldn't make the video if I didn't like the reed, because I've decided I'm not going to make a video about anything I don't like. My suggestions in terms of finding the right strength for you. For me, the right strength is a half strength above my V12. You might not play a V12, so that information might mean nothing to you. But I will say this. When you're playing a synthetic reed, for me, where it gets weird is when I can hear a color change on some of the notes, and where it really starts to get pronounced for me, if I'm playing a reed strength that's too soft on a synthetic reed, is when I get up to C and up into the left hand of the clarinet. it starts to get kind of weird sounding to me. And certain notes will pop out. But then when I go back to an appropriate strength, everything lines up a lot better. Let me ask you this. Why would you want to play on a synthetic reed? When you stop laughing, I'll tell you. Yeah, it's a better life. It's not working on reeds is better than working on reeds. Although I like working on reeds. But I think you get the joke I'm making here. So synthetic reeds, I mean, I have on 2 occasions played on synthetic reeds, and they've been great for a year. Hey, Jay, if they were great, why aren't you still playing on them? You got me. They were usable for me, and I used the American signature, or maybe just signature, I'm not sure, Legeres. And I had a nice time playing them. I did miss some of what I felt were the highs, or the more even spectrum of overtones that I got in a cane reed. And so I went back to cane reeds. The first thing I want to do, before we go to the spectrogram, if that's even what it's called, is just listen to some recordings that I made earlier. I did one on the French cut, 4.5. I did one on the Vandoren V12 number 4, and then I did one on the American signature, 4.0. Those are the choices that I had here. I had some European cut signatures. I don't know where they are. And that's what you get with me. Can't find my reeds. Listen to these and check out how they sound. Now, what I found, to my ears, is that there is a difference in the sound. Is there a huge difference in the sound? Is it a difference in the sound that's negative? Those are all very, very subjective choices. I do find that the playability of this French cut reed is more for me than the previous iterations of Legere. Not to throw any shade on the previous iterations of Legere, but I do like this. Now, let's take a listen and a look at the spectrogram readings of the overtones. Again, these overtones matter just in comparison to one another, only in that it reflects sort of how the sounds go together. I'm playing up by fourths from A flat, low A flat, up to high A. No, high G. That's what I decided. I wanted a G here. which is why I started on low A flat, playing it by fourth. Anyway, so the whole point is we're getting all the different ranges of the clarinet, and you can compare the different overtones. You're hearing the sound of the French cut reed, since this is what the video is about. And there you go. We'll talk about it in a second. There are some differences. The ones I like to pay attention to are the first 3 of the green bars to see how much of that we can get in the sound. You can see that they're by and large moving the same direction up or down, but the presence of it is where I'm really interested in looking at, because I do think that that's where we sound in tune with other people. There's 2 components to playing in tune. The components to playing in tune are you in tune with a tuner? Is the tuner telling you that you're in tune, flat or sharp? But even more important than that, are you playing with a sound that can be played in tune with? So you could be perfectly in tune, but impossible to find. That can happen, and you don't want that. And that, I think, is the single greatest challenge for anybody making a reed, synthetic or otherwise. And I think that this French cut reed is a big step forward in the Legere line of reeds, and it's a big deal to me, and I think it's good. We are in a place in the world, in the clarinet world, where there's more reed choices than ever before, and thanks to everybody making reeds, because everyone's got some pretty good reeds out there. The other cautionary tale I want to tell you about my experience with Legere reeds and any synthetic reed, because I've played some other synthetic reeds too, is that we got to be really, really careful with the tips of the reeds. If they get bent, it's essentially broken, because your reed's not going to ever work right again. And I think that's a really important thing to keep in mind, because yes, any tip of a reed, if you bend it or break it, isn't going to work. It's just the cost of doing that is so much higher with a synthetic reed than a regular cane reed. Most of what you miss when you do that to a regular cane reed is the dream of having a good reed. With a synthetic reed, it costs a lot of money, so you got to be careful about that. And there you have it. I mean, I think that this is a good option for a synthetic reed, and you should try it. If you are interested in playing a synthetic reed, this is worth your time, money, and effort to try and figure out if this is for you. Because in my estimation, this is the Legere that is closest to what I want to play. I'm sort of dancing around the question of, am I going to change to this? Undecided. But I'll tell you what, the fact that I would even consider it is kind of huge for me in the trajectory of my life and my clarinet playing. So there you have it. I mean, some good stuff here. I would absolutely recommend checking these reeds out. Thanks for being here. See you next time.